The station floated silently in the black void, orbiting the red desert planet below. Its metal walls glimmered faintly under the distant sun, but inside, a tension hung heavier than gravity. The aliens of the station had never seen humans before, and the air buzzed with nervous whispers. In the central chamber, a small alien cub, barely the size of a child, sat chained to a cold steel wall. Its golden eyes flickered nervously, reflecting the dim lights above. Every sound made it jump. Every shadow made it shrink. The cub species had always been cautious, but humans were different. There was a hardness in them, a quiet danger that no alien could ignore. The human shuttle docked with a hiss. Doors slid open, revealing two figures in white suits. They moved with precise steps, scanning the chamber with curious eyes. One of them carried a small device that hummed faintly, sending soft blue light across the walls. The cub stiffened, sensing a new threat. The aliens in the room whispered among themselves. Do we interfere? One asked. Its voice trembled. Let them observe. Another said quietly. We cannot show fear, not yet. But the cub could not stop trembling. It tugged slightly at its chain, testing the limits. The humans noticed immediately. One bent down, smiling coldly. Interesting, he said. Such a small creature, yet it reacts. The cub froze, then looked directly at the human. It could sense curiosity behind the human's eyes, but also a hidden hunger, a hunger for control. The cub's instinct screamed, run. But it was chained. One of the aliens tried to step forward. Do not provoke it. The human ignored them. He extended a hand toward the cub. It hissed and bared tiny, sharp teeth, a warning. The human laughed softly, like someone amused by a puzzle. You have spirit, he said. I like that. The cub's ears flattened. Around the room, the aliens whispered anxiously. Some hid behind machinery. Some clutched their own arms, unsure what to do. The room felt smaller, as if the human's presence pressed on every wall, every corner, every heartbeat. Then something strange happened. The cub's eyes glowed slightly brighter, almost like fire. It tugged at its chain harder, testing its strength. The metal links rattled. The human noticed and leaned closer. You want to fight, he said softly. But you are trapped. Clever, but trapped. The cub hissed again, louder this time. Its tiny claws scraped the floor, leaving faint marks. A low growl started from deep in its throat. The sound echoed in the chamber, bouncing off the walls. It was small, but there was courage in it, a courage that made even the humans pause. One of the aliens whispered, almost to itself, It has more courage than we thought. The human straightened. Don't worry, he said. We'll see what else you can do. His hand moved toward the cub again, but before it could touch, the cub's tail whipped around, knocking a small control panel to the floor. Sparks flew. The lights flickered. A soft alarm started somewhere in the station. The humans froze. The cub hissed again, louder. Its body shook, not with fear this time, but with determination. The aliens gasped. Never had they seen such defiance in a creature so small. You are stronger than you look, the human murmured, stepping back. He raised the device. Let's see how far this goes. The cub's chain rattled once more. Its golden eyes never left the human. Somewhere deep inside, it felt something awakening. Not just fear, but a strange energy, a spark of courage. Outside, the station remained silent. Stars moved in slow arcs. But inside the chamber, the air felt electric. Something had shifted. The humans had arrived, yes, but something in the room had also changed. The cub let out a final hiss and pressed its body against the wall. Its eyes, glowing faintly, followed every move. It was small and it was chained, but it was not powerless. The humans might think they controlled everything here, but the cub had already started planning, watching, learning. And the aliens? They watched too, their fear mingling with hope. Perhaps courage was contagious. Perhaps even the smallest creature could change the fate of the room, maybe even the station. The human leaned forward, unaware that the room was no longer just a place of observation. It had become a stage, and the cub, small, fierce, chained, was already the main actor. The door hissed closed. The lights dimmed slightly. And somewhere, deep in the cub's heart, the first seed of rebellion had taken root. The chamber felt quieter now, but the tension hung like a thick fog. The human observers had stepped back, their eyes scanning the room, unaware of the whispers among the aliens. The cub sat still, its golden eyes never leaving them. Every twitch of the human's hand, every faint movement, made its heart pound like a drum. In the shadows, the elder aliens huddled together. Their voices were soft, urgent, barely audible over the hum of the station. "This human, it is different," whispered one elder. Its antenna twitched nervously. "It is not like the others we have studied. They observe everything," another whispered. "Every heartbeat, every thought, almost as if they can feel fear itself." The cub's small ears twitched. It did not understand all the words, but it could sense the fear. And strangely, it could also sense something else. A warning, a call to courage. The cub's chains rattled softly as it shifted. Its claws scraped against the metal floor. It wanted to move, to run, to lash out, but the chains were tight, and the human's eyes were sharp. It had to wait. Patience, observation, planning. From a far side of the chamber, a younger alien whispered to the cub, though it had no words the humans could hear. The cub tilted its head, listening to the faint vibrations in the air, almost like a secret language. Its tiny heart beat faster as it understood. The humans were dangerous, but they were not invincible. A soft, mechanical hum suddenly filled the room. One of the humans held up the glowing device again, its blue light tracing the edges of the walls. The cub flinched but did not move away. Its courage had started to grow, tiny yet steady, like a small flame in darkness. The human spoke softly, almost kindly, yet the tone carried an unspoken command. "Let's see how you respond," he said, his eyes locked on the cub. "Let's see what you can do." The cub felt the warning inside it flare. Something inside whispered, "Don't let them control you. Don't show fear." Suddenly, one of the aliens, a small technician with sleek, silver skin, spoke up. Its voice was trembling. "We should warn them," warned the cub. "The humans, they are testing limits. They push until they break." The cub's eyes widened. It understood. The warning was clear. The humans were dangerous. But it also felt another emotion bubbling inside. Defiance. Courage. A strange determination that made its small body stiffen. The humans moved closer. One knee touched the floor. The cub's tail lashed behind it, knocking over a small container. The sound echoed sharply in the chamber. The human froze, then smiled. "Ah, you are clever," he said softly. "Not afraid. Interesting." The cub hissed. Its small claws scraped again, leaving faint marks. Sparks from the knocked-over container reflected in its eyes, making them shine like molten gold. The aliens whispered in alarm and awe. "You see," one elder whispered. "It feels, it resists. It does not obey. Courage, even in chains." The cub's gaze never left the human. It could feel the danger. But for the first time, it also felt something else. A tiny seed of hope. If it moved carefully, if it planned, maybe it could survive. Maybe it could even protect the others. The human straightened and activated the device. A faint pulse ran across the room, making the lights flicker. The cub jumped slightly, but the pulse revealed a strange secret. Hidden energy lines beneath the floor. The cub noticed them, and a thought formed in its mind. A plan, however tiny. The humans continued their slow observation, unaware that their careful control was slipping. The aliens watched silently, their fear mixed with admiration. Even in a small, chained body, courage could grow, and the cub was proof. The chamber felt smaller with every passing second. The humans' quiet movements were calculated, but the cub's growing awareness was faster. It learned, it adapted, it waited. The chains rattled again as the cub shifted slightly, testing its limits. From a corner, a faint vibration, the cub's secret signal, reached the other aliens. Its courage was contagious. They understood, even if small, even if chained, resistance was possible. The human's device hummed louder, scanning the cub's body. "Fascinating," he murmured. "Such spirit, yet so fragile." The cub's ears flattened. Its claws scraped the floor. Its golden eyes flared, brighter than before. The room was no longer just about fear. It was about a silent challenge, a battle of wills. And in that moment, the cub understood the first rule. Fear can be taught, but courage can grow. The humans had arrived to observe, to control, to test. But the whispers of warning, the small acts of defiance, and the unspoken courage inside a tiny, chained body had already begun to change the rules of the room. A spark had been lit, and once courage starts to burn, no chain, no human can fully contain it. The chamber had grown tense, almost alive with quiet energy. The cub sat chained, its golden eyes glowing faintly, reflecting both fear and determination. The humans continued their slow, deliberate movements, unaware that the room was changing, not physically, but in spirit. In the shadows, the alien crew whispered among themselves. They had watched the cub closely, noting every twitch, every hiss, every spark of defiance. A realization was forming. Courage was contagious, and the cub was its first carrier. It is not just a child, one elder whispered. It is the symbol. Symbol? Asked the younger alien, its voice shaking. What can a cub symbolize against humans? The elder's eyes softened. Strength, hope, resistance. The cub shifted slightly, testing its chains again. Each time it moved, it discovered more about its limits. Its muscles twitched, claws scraping the floor softly. The humans noticed, but instead of fear, the cub felt a strange excitement. Each small movement was a victory, each tiny act of defiance a spark of power. The humans spoke in quiet tones, exchanging observations. One bent down to examine the cub more closely. Its hand hovered near the small creature. The cub's body tensed, every nerve alert. Then, with a sudden burst, it slammed a paw against the wall, rattling its chains. Sparks flew from a nearby panel. The humans jumped back slightly, surprised by the unexpected energy. One muttered, "It reacts differently than we expected." From a corner, an alien technician whispered, "Do you see? It resists. Even in chains, it fights. Courage, real courage, not obedience." The cub's eyes scanned the room. The whispers of its species, faint but present, reached it. It felt a strange warmth, a connection to those around it. Perhaps courage was not only within itself. It was shared, growing in small, quiet waves across the chamber. The human straightened, frowning. "Such energy," he said. "It is unusual. I've never seen behavior like this before. Most creatures break before the tests. But this one, it calculates, it reacts, it refuses." The cub's tail lashed again, knocking over another small container. Sparks flew. The device hummed. An alarm softly trilled. The humans froze, scanning the room. The cub hissed, its small body trembling, but not with fear. This trembling was energy, anticipation, determination. The aliens watched in awe. The cub's defiance had stirred something inside them, too. For years, they had hidden in shadows, fearful of human technology and control. But seeing one small being fight back, even chained, gave them hope. Courage, it seemed, could not be contained. One of the younger aliens crept closer to the cub. "Do you understand?" It whispered softly, barely audible. "Do you feel it too?" The cub's ears twitched. A soft vibration ran through the air, a subtle connection, a shared rhythm. Though it was small and young, the cub understood. Fear could paralyze, but courage could grow, even in darkness. The humans, oblivious to the subtle communication, focused on their device. One pressed a button and a soft, blue pulse ran along the floor. The cub felt it, the energy vibrating through the chains, through the floor, through the air. But instead of fear, it felt a strange exhilaration. The pulse revealed weak points, areas to exploit, ways to turn its environment to its advantage. The elder aliens noticed a change in the cub. "It learns quickly," one whispered. "It is not just resisting. It is planning." The cub's claws scraped the floor again. Sparks danced around it. Its golden eyes reflected the faint blue light from the device. The human bent closer, his expression curious, yet cautious. "You are clever," he said softly. "Too clever." The cub hissed once, a low, warning sound. Though small, its voice carried power. It was no longer just a scared creature. It was a force, subtle but undeniable. Outside the room, the station's corridors remained silent. But inside, the room had changed. Fear was no longer the only emotion. Quiet courage, hidden in a small, chained cub, had begun to spread. Shadows of courage moved through the chamber like whispers, touching every alien present. The human stepped back, adjusting the device. "Interesting," he murmured. "You may survive longer than I thought." The cub's tail flicked once more. Its body trembled, not with fear, but with energy. Each spark, each movement was a lesson. Each glance, each hiss, was a message. And then, as the human bent close to take another measurement, the cub's golden eyes flared with sudden intensity. It had learned something new. The humans were not invincible. Their control was limited, their patience finite. Even the smallest being, chained and young, could change the dynamics of the room. The chamber felt alive now. Every sound, every movement, every whisper of courage was amplified. The cub's small defiance had grown into something more, a presence, a symbol. And the humans, they had only just begun to understand that the room was no longer theirs to dominate. The room was heavy with tension. The humans moved slowly, carefully, their eyes scanning every inch of the chamber. But the cub had changed. Its golden eyes no longer just reflected fear. They gleamed with determination. The whispers of courage from the aliens around it had grown louder, almost like a pulse in the walls. The cub shifted in its chains, muscles coiled like springs. Every step, every glance from the humans was being measured. The device hummed faintly, scanning, probing. The cub felt the vibrations through the floor, through its paws. It understood the humans' rhythm now, their predictable movements. One human crouched near the cub, adjusting the small device that glowed softly. "Curious," he murmured. "It reacts differently each time. Clever, but trapped. Clever, trapped." The word stung the cub, not with anger, but with fuel. The cub's body tensed. It had learned from the humans, it had observed them, and now it understood something vital. Even in chains, it could strike. A spark flickered from a damaged panel near the cub. Its tail flicked against it by chance, and the spark jumped the floor. The human paused. The cub's claws scraped the floor again, this time deliberately, creating small arcs of electricity. It hissed, a sharp, warning sound, low and resonant. The human froze. "What?" he said, unsure. The cub's body coiled. Its tiny frame seemed almost larger than before, fierceness radiating from every movement. It struck. Its paw hit the panel again, sending a jolt of electricity toward the human's device. Sparks flew, lights flickered, and a small alarm trilled softly. The human stumbled back, shielding the device. The aliens gasped in the shadows. For the first time, they saw not just defiance, but action, courage in motion. The cub had taken the first strike. The human recovered quickly, but a flicker of uncertainty appeared in his eyes. He had expected resistance, but not this, small, smart, and deliberate. The cub's golden eyes locked onto him. It was no longer just reacting. It was attacking, testing limits, challenging authority. "Interesting," the human muttered, a faint edge of respect in his tone. "It learns fast, too fast." The cub hissed again, the sound vibrating through the room. Its chains rattled as it tested the metal links. Each strike with precise controlled a message. "I am not powerless." The aliens whispered in awe. One elder said, "It fights, even chained. It does not fear. Not truly." Another young alien edged closer to the cub. "It inspires," it whispered. "Even in the shadows, courage grows." The human raised the device again, tried to regain control, but the cub was ready. It jumped, claws scraping metal, tail lashing, knocking another container off a shelf. Sparks flew, and the device flickered, struggling to maintain its energy. The cub's movements were fast, deliberate. It had observed the humans for hours, memorized their patterns, and now it acted. Small, calculated strikes, enough to disrupt, enough to warn, enough to claim the first victory. The humans paused, looking at each other, Their calm control was slipping, one muttered. It's not just fear. It thinks. It reacts. The cub hissed one final time, golden eyes blazing, claws raised, tail whipping. Its small body trembled, not with fear, but with energy, pure, unstoppable courage. The humans had expected a frightened, submissive creature. Instead, they faced something alive, fierce, and aware. The aliens whispered in excitement, hope threading through their voices. It has done what we feared to do, one said softly. It has taken the first strike. The human leader stepped back, adjusting the device. He studied the cub carefully, a new calculation in his eyes. This small creature had changed the dynamics of the room. It was no longer just a subject for observation. It was a challenge. The cub's body shook slightly, tail flicking, eyes bright. It had acted, struck, and survived. Its first strike was small, but it carried power beyond its size. Courage. And the humans knew it now, even if only quietly. The chamber felt different. The hum of the station, the flicker of lights, the tension in the air, it all vibrated with a new rhythm. One small cub, chained and young, had changed the rules. The humans were not fully in control. The cub had begun a ripple that would grow, a wave of courage that could not be ignored. And somewhere deep inside the cub, a new thought formed. This is only the beginning. The chamber had changed. What was once a place of fear and observation now hummed with a different energy, a subtle pulse of defiance. The cub, small and chained, sat with its golden eyes gleaming, sensing every movement of humans and every whisper of the aliens. The humans were cautious now. Their device flickered with energy, and one human muttered under his breath, "It's adapting faster than expected." His companion's jaw tightened. "It's more than a test subject. It's dangerous." The cub, however, did not fully understand the word danger. It only understood instinct. The humans were a threat, but they were not invincible. The cub's chains rattled as it shifted, testing them once more. Sparks flew from a nearby control panel, and the hum of electricity filled the room. The humans stepped back, adjusting their stance. From the shadows, the elder aliens whispered to each other. "It inspires," one said softly. "Even in its small body, it gives courage to others." The younger aliens nodded. They had hidden in fear for too long, but now, watching the cub, they felt something awakening inside themselves. Courage would be learned, shared, spread, even in silence. The cub's tail flicked, knocking over a small container with precision this time. Sparks danced across the floor, and the human's devices flickered and beeped. A low hum began, resonating through the metal walls. The cub hissed, a sharp, deliberate sound, a call, a warning. One young alien edged closer, whispering, It knows. It sees the patterns. The cub tilted its head, ears twitching. It was learning. Each movement, each strike, each hiss sent a message. It was no longer just surviving. It was planning. The humans exchanged glances, realizing the small creature was not only aware of them, it was calculating. "It's intelligent," one muttered, "and it is resisting in ways we didn't predict." The cub pressed his body against the wall, eyes locked on the humans. Its chains rattled softly, almost like a heartbeat. Somewhere deep inside, it felt the courage of the room around it, the whispers of aliens, the tension in the air, the sparks from electricity, and it began to move with purpose. A small act, barely noticeable but deliberate, a soft nudge of the chain toward the control panel. Sparks jumped. Lights flickered. The human nearest the cub reached for it, but hesitated. The cub hissed and arched its back, a tiny warning with enormous impact. From the shadows, the elder whispered, "It is teaching. Even in chains, it shows the others how to resist." The younger aliens leaned closer, inspired by the cub's courage. The whispers grew louder, subtle vibrations of hope threading through the chamber. They could not act yet, but they were no longer silent. Courage had a sound now. The human leader adjusted the device again, trying to regain control. "It's unpredictable," he muttered. "It's small, yet every action carries consequence." The cub hissed again, tiny claws scraping the metal floor. Sparks jumped from the edges of the device. The humans stepped back, careful not to provoke further damage. The cub's energy filled the room, growing stronger with each moment of observation and reaction. It was then that a small alien engineer, hidden behind a console, tapped softly on a panel to communicate with the cub. The cub's ears twitched. It understood, though in its own way. A subtle vibration, a faint rhythm in the air, responded. Coordination, connection, the first spark of teamwork among the oppressed. The humans noticed the small movements, but did not understand their meaning. They could see resistance, yes, but they could not yet see the full scale of what was forming. A rebellion, quiet but real, had begun. The cub pressed its body forward, golden eyes fixed, claws poised. Its movements were careful, precise, deliberate. Each strike, each rattle, each hiss echoed through the room like a drumbeat. The other aliens noticed. Courage was contagious. They began to whisper more openly. Each were a spark that added to the growing fire. The human leader stepped back, frustration flickering in his eyes. "It's changing the room," he muttered. "It's not just surviving. It's leading." The cub did not know the word leader, but it understood instinctively. Others were watching. Others were learning. It was small, chained, yet impossible to ignore. Every hiss, every spark, every shift in its body was a lesson in courage. And somewhere, deep inside the cub, a thought formed, sharp and clear. This is not just for me. It is for them. For everyone who is afraid. We will not be broken. The chamber hummed with quiet rebellion. Sparks danced across metal walls. Shadows of courage moved among the aliens. And the humans, those still in control of their technology, realized that the battle of the room had already begun. The first strike had awakened something far larger than the cub itself. A movement, subtle but unstoppable, echoing through every corner of the chamber. And the cub? It hissed again, eyes blazing, claws scraping the floor. It was no longer just surviving. It was teaching, inspiring, and leading. The echoes of rebellion had begun. The chamber pulsed with energy now. Sparks from damaged panels danced across the metal floor. The cub, small and chained, had grown bolder. Its golden eyes gleamed with a fierce light, reflecting the courage that had begun to ripple through the alien crew. The humans moved carefully, devices in hand, their usual confidence waning. Every twitch, every hiss, every flick of the cub's tail was unpredictable. It was unsettling them. The cub's chains rattled as it tested its strength, muscles coiling like springs. It had learned from every previous interaction. Every spark, every vibration, every human movement had taught it something new. The elder aliens watched silently from the shadows. One whispered, "It is ready. The time is coming." A young alien nodded, eyes wide. It has learned to fight, even chained. The cub hissed, a sharp, resonant sound. Its claws scraped the floor, sparks jumping. The humans froze, device raised, but unsure. The cub's energy filled the room, and with each beat of its small heart, the metal chains vibrated against its strength. Then, with sudden determination, the cub lunged forward. Its paw struck the chain where it attached to the wall, rattling it violently. Sparks flew. The chain held, but the humans flinched. They had not expected a chained creature to fight back with such force. The cub's tail lashed, hitting a nearby control panel. The panel sparked and fizzled. A low hum ran through the floor, and the humans stumbled back, trying to stabilize their device. From the shadows, the elder whispered, "It is breaking free, not fully, but the chain cannot hold its spirit." The cub's claws dug into the floor, pushing against every limitation. It twisted and turned, testing every weak link, every crack in the chain's metal. The humans approached cautiously, but the cub's body quivered with energy, and sparks leapt dangerously close to the device. The cub hissed louder, a defiant roar in miniature form. Its golden eyes glowed brighter. The humans could see now. They were facing something more than just a small alien. This cub had intelligence, courage, and an unpredictable power. A younger alien, emboldened by the cub's actions, crept closer. It whispered softly, sending vibrations through the floor that the cub felt. Coordination. Unity. The cub understood. It was not alone. Courage flowed through the room, linking the cub and the aliens. The human leader furrowed his brow. It's adapting. Too quickly. We underestimated it. He motioned for the device to intensify its energy pulse. Sparks flew brighter and alarms softly trilled. But the cub was ready. It lunged again, body coiled, claws scraping metal, tail striking with precision. A link of the chain bent. Sparks danced across the floor. The cub hissed triumphantly, golden eyes blazing, chest heaving. It had learned that even a small push, applied at the right moment, could change the game. The aliens whispered encouragement, their fear slowly giving way to determination. Courage was spreading, subtle but unstoppable. They watched as the cub tested limits, revealing weak points in the human's control. Every movement inspired hope. The humans stepped back, devices flickering, struggling to maintain dominance. Their calm control was slipping. One muttered, "It's not just resisting, it's leading." The cub's tail flicked one final time, knocking a small container into the device. Sparks flew, lights flickered, and the pulse of energy resonated through the floor. The chain rattled violently, metal bending slightly. The cub's body shivered, not with fear, but with pure, focused energy. It had done it, not fully free, but powerful enough to challenge the human's control. Its courage had broken part of the chain's hold. A tiny victory, but one that rippled through the room. The aliens cheered quietly, whispers of hope growing louder. Courage was contagious, and now, even the humans could sense it. Their devices hummed, but the cub's presence dominated the room. The cub hissed again, eyes glowing, claws raised, tail flicking. It was no longer just a small, chain creature. It had become a force, a spark of rebellion, and the humans could feel it in every cautious step they took. And somewhere deep inside the cub, a thought formed, sharp and clear. Chains do not bind courage. And this is only the beginning. The room had changed. The humans were no longer fully in control. The cub, small and fierce, had begun the real fight. The rebellion was alive, and it would not be stopped. The chamber thrummed with energy, thick with tension and quiet defiance. The cub, small yet fierce, stood ready. Its golden eyes glowed like molten fire, reflecting every movement of the humans who had once seemed untouchable. Sparks danced across the floor from damaged panels, casting shifting shadows across the walls. The human leader's eyes narrowed. His device hummed, casting blue light over the chamber. "It's more than I expected," he muttered. "It's not just defiance. It's strategy." The cub hissed, claws scraping the floor. Each strike against the metal chains had sharpened its instincts. Every spark, every vibration, had been a lesson. It had learned the rhythm of the humans, their patience, and now it was ready for more. From the shadows, the alien crew watched closely. Courage flowed through them like an electric current. Even the timid ones moved forward now, testing the edges of their own fear. They whispered softly to the cub, a silent rhythm of guidance and encouragement. The humans advanced, devices humming, their calm authority threatened by a small creature they underestimated. The cub lunged first, striking the edge of a nearby console with precision. Sparks flew, lights flickered, and alarms trilled softly. The humans reacted, but the cub was faster. Its claws scraped metal, tail whipped against a control panel, sending wires and sparks flying. The chamber seemed alive, vibrating with energy and resistance. The cub's movements were deliberate, each small strike a message. We will not be broken. One human stepped forward. Try to regain control. "Enough!" he shouted. His voice echoed, but the cub only hissed in response, ears flattened, eyes blazing. From the shadows, an alien technician tapped a control panel, sending faint vibrations that the cub felt. Coordination. They were no longer separate. They were a team. The humans had not realized that courage could spread, that even silence could communicate defiance. The cub lunged again, knocking a container into the human's device. Sparks leapt, and a pulse of energy ran across the floor. The human leader stepped back, shielding the device, but his eyes betrayed surprise. This small creature, chained and young, had changed the balance. The aliens whispered encouragement, and the cub responded. Its body moved with precision and speed, striking, dodging, and testing limits. The human's devices flickered, struggling to maintain dominance. The chamber's energy seemed to pulse with the cub's courage, and for the first time, the humans hesitated. One human muttered, almost in awe, "It's leading them." We underestimated it. The cub's eyes met the human leaders. In that silent moment, a battle of wills passed between them. The humans had power, technology, and strength. The cub had courage, intelligence, and the spirit of everyone who'd been silent for too long. A container toppled. Sparks flew, and the cub hissed, moving like a shadow across the floor. The humans lunged to regain control, but the cub was always one step ahead, anticipating, reacting, striking with precision. Each small action inspired the aliens to move more boldly, their whispers growing louder. The tension reached its peak. Sparks flew higher, alarms rang softly, and the cub's golden eyes flared like fire. The humans were forced back, devices faltering, authority slipping. The chamber had become a battlefield, not a brute force, but of spirit, courage, and willpower. The human leader gritted his teeth. "Stop it," he shouted, but the cub's defiance was unyielding. Its chains rattled violently as it pressed forward. Every small strike a challenge to human control. The aliens, emboldened by the cub's courage, began subtle movements, blocking, redirecting, supporting the cub's attacks. The humans realized too late that they were not facing one small creature. They were facing a united front, a surge of courage that could not be contained by technology or chains. The cub hissed again, claws scraping, tail lashing. Sparks danced around it. Its golden eyes locked onto the human leader, a silent message. "We will not bow. We will not be broken." The humans staggered back, devices flickering, authority slipping. The cub had taken the chamber, not with brute force, but with courage and strategy. The first true battle of wills had been fought, and the humans had felt the first sting of defeat. The chamber hummed with energy, the echoes of courage resonating through every alien present. The cub, small and chained no longer in spirit, stood tall, golden eyes blazing, body coiled with energy and defiance. The humans had underestimated the power of courage, and the cub, though small, had shown them. Even the weakest can become the strongest when spirit and courage lead the way. The chamber was alive. Sparks danced across the metal floor, alarms hummed softly, and the air crackled with tension. The humans, once confident and commanding, now faced a force they had underestimated. A small, chained cub whose courage had grown into a wildfire, and an alien crew inspired by its defiance. The cub crouched, golden eyes blazing, muscles coiled. Every movement it had made had been a lesson in resistance, a quiet strike against oppression. The humans approached, devices raised, but their calm control had vanished. They were tense, uncertain, aware that their authority could no longer dominate the room. From the shadows, the aliens whispered encouragement. Their voices, once timid, now carried conviction. Each word, each soft vibration, reached the cub, fueling its energy. Courage was no longer just inside the cub. It flowed through the entire chamber. The human leader stepped forward, voice firm but strained. "Enough! You cannot resist." The cub hissed, claws scraping metal, tail lashing. Sparks flew from the panels it had knocked over, and the blue glow of the human's device flickered wildly. This time, the cub was not alone. The aliens moved subtly coordinated, using small panels and controls to disrupt the device. Wires sparked, lights flickered, and alarms shrieked. The humans lunged to regain control, but the cub anticipated them. It twisted, claws striking the edges of the device, tail whipping to knock it off balance. Sparks arced, the device stumbled, and the humans staggered back. The cub hissed again, a tiny roar that echoed louder than any human voice. One alien engineer whispered softly from the shadows, tapping a console to assist the cub. A subtle pulse ran through the chamber, helping redirect the energy from the human's device. Another alien moved the control panel, sending a small surge toward the device. The humans struggled to stabilize it, but every action the cub and aliens took worked in perfect harmony. The human leader's face tightened with frustration. This isn't possible," he muttered. "A cub? And these creatures? They are united against us." The cub's eyes flared brighter. Its courage had grown beyond fear, beyond chains. Every spark, every hiss, Every calculated strike had taught the humans that control could be challenged, even by the smallest. With one final, powerful movement, the cub lunged at the device, knocking it fully to the ground. Sparks flew, lights went out momentarily, and the soft hum of the station's alarms filled the silence. The humans froze. Their power was gone, their authority shattered. The chamber fell quiet for a moment, save for the soft breathing of the cub and the subtle whispers of the alien crew. Golden eyes glowed steadily in the dim light. The cub had fought, learned, and inspired, showing that courage could not be chained. The humans stepped back, devices useless, pride wounded. One muttered quietly, They are stronger than we believed. The aliens moved forward cautiously, emboldened by the cub's bravery. No longer afraid, they touched panels, adjusted circuits, and regained control of the chamber. They had learned that even the smallest act of courage could ignite hope and strengthen others. The cub hissed softly, tail curling proudly. It had not only survived, but had led a rebellion, small but unstoppable. Its chains were still there physically, but its spirit was free, shining brighter than any technology the humans could wield. Outside, the station remained silent. Inside, a new order had taken root. Courage had risen. The cub, though small, had become a symbol. Proof that even the weakest, the youngest, the smallest, could stand against overwhelming force and inspire others to rise. The humans, aware now of their miscalculation, withdrew slowly. Their departure was quiet, but the message was clear. Underestimating courage was a mistake no force could recover from. The aliens gathered around the cub, soft whispers of admiration and gratitude filling the chamber. They had seen fear, yes, but they had also seen something more powerful. Courage, intelligence, and the determination to resist. The cub pressed its small body against the floor, golden eyes surveying the room. Chains or not, it had won in every way that mattered. Its courage had changed the fate of the room, the station, and perhaps even the human's perception of strength. The whispers grew into a quiet chant of hope, a reminder that courage could grow anywhere, even in chains. The cub, small, fierce, and unbroken, had done the impossible. And somewhere deep inside, the cub felt it clearly. Courage is unstoppable. Fear can be challenged. And even the smallest being can change the world.